Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie. I am doing a August wrap-up video. These are all the books that I read in the month of August, and I read 21 books, which I am completely surprised by because the restaurant that I work at is now like almost fully functional and there aren't a lot of servers, so I'm working quite a bit now. So I haven't had a bunch of time to read, but Summerween. Have you seen my vlogs? Have you seen my vlogs? Sis, where have you been sleeping? Like, I'm gonna have them linked. I'm gonna have them linked. I'll have them linked every which way. Like, I did that thing. Like, I dare say, I crushed it. Like, go watch it. Anyway, the last 5 books that I talk about in this will be the books that I read for Summerween, and oh, spoiler alert. So what I'm going to do for this video is, instead of telling you what all the books are about, because snooze fest, like, honestly, it's just so freaking boring to watch that, is I'll tell you what the books are about if I really loved them, and then all the other books, I'll give you like a brief reason on what made me give it the review that I gave it. Anyway, let's jump right into these 21 books. Okay, starting out with a banger, The Diviners by Libba Bray. Real quick, let's not focus on the cover. I literally have an entire rant review talking about how ugly this is, because let's not split hairs. It's bad. Okay, if all the nice people out there that are trying to pretend like it's not, it's bad. It's bad. Just admit it. It's ugly. But the inside is beautiful. This book, 5 out of 5, already went on my favorites. Like, I can't wait to read the rest of this series. This is basically following a group of like diviners, and diviners are people that have like a supernatural power. Our main character, Evie O'Neill, she can touch something of yours and then tell things about you. She can see your memories, she can see your past, all these different things. And all of the different characters have different gifts, and there is a serial killer in New York City, and it is basically telling how this ragtag group of kids or teenagers come together to fight this supernatural like ghost slash a demon. It's a lot scarier than I thought it would be, but it is so good. And I highly recommend the audiobook. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of jazz playing. There's a character that's a singer that sings in the audiobook, and it is just so phenomenal. Like, read this book. I feel like I know a lot of booktube talks about it, but it's still underrated because there's not a series. Like, there's no movie. And Hollywood, hello? Next, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I DNF'd this 3/4 the way through because it was so boring. It was so boring. Like, I could not focus on a single character. I couldn't seem to remember anything I just read. And I tried listening to the audio and listened to it again like 3/4 the way through, and again stopped around the same point and was like, I don't care. End of list. And then The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I adored this book. I had no idea what it was about, and thank God, because that spoiler, even though it happens in like the first 50 pages, I was shook. Okay, how did nobody tell me what this book was about? Like, how did nobody say it? I don't understand. And I'm not going to tell you. I can't tell you why I loved it specifically, because it is the spoiler. It was 5 out of 5, favorite of all time. All I can say is that you're following the story of an actress, Evelyn Hugo, who's like a really big deal. Like, she's probably like Judi Dench, like Michelle Pfeiffer, like something like that. And she is very secretive. The paparazzi, media, everybody wants to know about her. She doesn't talk about anything. And when she's like 80, she contacts this journaling company, whatever, and says, I want this journalist to tell my life story. And they're like, her? Well, she's a nobody. And Evelyn Hugo's like, did you fucking hear me? I said her. So the girl's like, okay, sure. I'll do it for money. And she goes in and is like, okay, I want to know the story of like, who was the love of your life? You've been married 7 times. Which one was the one? And she's going out to find that story. And that's all I can tell you, because the answer to that question is, oh my God, I can't say anymore. I'm sorry. Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. There's not much I can say about this. It's a short story. If you want something that's like fun, fast, thrilling, creepy, read this. I really loved it. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I struggle with giving short stories anything above a 4, but I really loved it. It's probably the best short story I've ever read. And then I DNF'd Helter Skelter. I should love this book. It was so boring. I just couldn't get into it. I listened to quite a bit of it. Like, it was on audio and the book is huge. I listened to a couple hours of it and I just couldn't care. Also, I just think Manson is like disgusting. Anyway, I DNF'd it. And after that, Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda by Becky Albertelli. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 when it was really like a 3.5 out of 5, because I think that if I had read this when it came out, or maybe when I was a teenager, or even in college, I would have absolutely adored this book. It would have been 5 out of 5. But I feel as though I have read way better gay literature, like way, way better. And this is not anything bad about the book. I just think that at the time it was great, and now it's just like, it's okay. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna lump these together. But I read Heartstopper Volume 2 and 3 by Alice Oseman, and oh my God! Let's talk about a chef's motherfucking kiss. It is so... Have you not read it? Have you not read the beauty that is Heartstopper? It is like a gay cupcake that melts in your mouth. It's so... Charlie and Nick are just everything. Like, it's so beautiful. It is such a beautiful story. And it's like also kind of heartbreaking. Like, it's mostly beautiful, but there's a lot of like anxiety. There's a lot of like just transitional experiences in life. It's so beautiful. And in the third one, which was like the best one in my opinion, they're also dealing with like some eating disorders and stuff, and it is so well done. It is so well done. I can't even describe to you how well done this comic is. I own the first volume and I read the 2 and 3 on Webtoon, and it is free. It's free. You have no excuse not to read it. It is free for your viewing. You can read every single bit of this on your phone or on your computer. Just do it. Do it for me. You know, do it for yourself. It's fantastic. Okay. Then I read The Archived by Victoria Schwab. Now this might look confusing, but it's because this is The Archived and this is The Unbound. So it's 2 books wrapped into one. I read The Archived. I read it incredibly quickly. I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's like a 3.5 out of 5. I just didn't care enough to like really keep going with it. I don't know. I really don't think I will, because this was written a while ago and there's no third book in sight. And I just feel like I'm just going to be mad. If I read the second book and there isn't a third, I'm just going to be pissed. So I think I'm just going to stop here and like donate the book. And if a third one comes out, they'll probably re-release the first 2 in individual copies, maybe with a different cover, and I'll just buy them then. Okay, along the same vein, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. It's the first Sarah J. Maas book I've ever read, and I really enjoyed her writing. Like, really enjoyed it, and the world building was like pretty good. I liked it, but I hate insta-love. And this was hella insta-love. Like, this felt very True Bloody. You know what I'm saying? But like in the bad ways. I just didn't like that. And then, I'm gonna be honest with you, the character I was so excited to learn more about dies. And I was like, excuse me? That's the person I was waiting to pick up the second book to learn about. Anyway, I'm bitter. You don't need to know what the book is about because you already know. Sarah J. Maas is like a freaking icon. Like, everybody knows what the book is about, so let's just move on. Okay, moving into a book I absolutely adored, Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. Do you see these tabs? I was living an ultimate life reading this book. I have never in my entire life related to a character the way that I did Elio. Oh my God, it's like you're reading a diary from Elio's point of view. And every summer, his parents have somebody come and stay with them that's kind of like a student. And this guy comes and stays with them, and he's older than him by like 5 to 7 years. I can't remember. I think it's 7 years. And he's there to work on his book. And Elio immediately is attracted to him. And in his brain creates this entire fantasy around this guy. And then it's like their relationship and how, like, is it going to happen? Can it happen? And just the way that Elio thought about Oliver, the other guy, or the way that he thought about himself, the way that he described just fantasizing about every scenario, I related to it so intensely. I was so wrapped into this book. I could not read anything after finishing this for like a couple days. I watched the movie. I was like heartbroken over this. And Noelle Gallagher, thank you so much for raving about this so much, because you were right. I loved it. And then I read The Westing Game. It's a middle grade book. I'm not a middle grade fan. What am I even fooling myself? Why do I keep reading middle grade books and thinking I'm gonna love them? Like, I'm gonna change all of a sudden. Like, let's just move on. This was good. It was exhilarating. It was fun, but it's not good enough to be talked about. And then I listened to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Black. And this one I really enjoyed. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I think that it is very similar to Sadie. Like, if you like Sadie, you'll like this. If you like this, you'll like Sadie. And just like Sadie, I would highly recommend the audiobook. I think these kind of books are definitely meant to be consumed as audiobooks, especially Sadie. It's basically like you're following this girl trying to figure out, like, she's doing like a class project, and she's doing it on a murder suspect, and it's another like teenager that's being maybe framed for his girlfriend's murder, and she's trying to figure out if he did it or not. And then she kind of gets way too involved, and it's following her like interviewing all these people and figuring out what happened. It's very entertaining. Like, it's very good. It's not phenomenal, but it's worth a read. Like, it's fun and fresh. And that leads me to a 5 out of 5 mystery/thriller, My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I loved this. Is there a romance trope for whatever the fuck was going on between these two main characters? Because I dig it. Like, oh my God. I love it. I love when two characters look at each other doing like really morally gray or even like evil shit and are like, you're a genius. That's hot. Like, I love that stuff. I love it. It's like the second half of Gone Girl. Love it. Okay. Basically, this is about a married couple who kill people for fun. End of list. That's all you need to know. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I loved it. I was literally like, oh my God. I was so excited. Like, I get it. This is me. Like, I'm weird and I just love that shit. But like, if you're also weird and you also like that shit, then you are going to eat this up. I'm literally willing to bet you'll love it. Next in August, I read All Boys Aren't Blue, and this I did not realize was a true story. I didn't realize that this was like an autobiography or like a memoir. I had no idea. So when I was listening to it, I was like, this is a weirdly told fiction. Psych. It's very beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great. I thought going into it that it was going to be like a little bit more like of a story. So I had my hopes in a different direction when I started listening to it, but I didn't want to put a hold on my hold because it had taken so long for it to come in. So I just kind of pushed through it, and that was my mistake. But it's very, very good. Everybody's reviews about it are absolutely dead honest. Like, it's a very beautiful book. it just wasn't what I wanted at the time. Okay, Summerween. First, I read The Shining by Stephen King. And I'm sorry, I know you've heard me say this a million times, but I'm shocked that I liked it as much as I did. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I don't know, it might be a 4.5 out of 5. It's so good. Like, it's so good. It is so much deeper, so much more entertaining and more interesting than the movie. And I love the movie. I need to watch it again now that I've read the book, but it is so good. I think the biggest difference between the movie and the book is that the movie is basically taking place through Jack Torrance's point of view, and then the book is taking place through Danny Torrance's point of view, which is his 5-year-old son. And you'd think a 5-year-old's point of view, it would be super boring or not make sense, but you are dead wrong. Like, this 5-year-old, that was great. Like, I feel like through Jack Torrance's point of view, it would have been a way more one note, but getting his son's point of view is so intriguing. And if you don't know what The Shining is about, what rock are you living under? Like, hello, it's The Shining. It's a classic. It's about a haunted hotel. And then Jack Torrance takes his family to go stay there so he can be the caretaker of the hotel, and weird shit starts happening, okay? And it's like Danny, his son, has The Shining, and it's like some people have The Shining, and it's basically like where they can see things that other people can't see. Like if you can like read vibes or you can see auras, it's kind of like that. Anyway, that's all I need to say because I'm sure everybody already knows what this book is about. I'm thinking of ending things. This book ended me. Ian Reed, answer for yourself. Answer to me. What the fuck happened in this book? Somebody out there, hello? Does anybody hear me? I need somebody to answer me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one thing. So you see these tabs? Green tabs mean, oh shit. There is no other color tab because I was shaking. I was shooketh, I dare say. What? Excuse me? I cannot wait for this September 4th Netflix movie to come out because it needs to give me some answers. It needs to explain some things. Okay? I can't even tell you what this book is about because I don't even know. Let's see. All I can say is that it's about the main character and her boyfriend Jake, and they are going on this small, like 2-hour road trip to meet his parents at this secluded farm. Does it sound creepy? Maybe not yet, but oh, it is creepy. It is weird. It's like the best description. It says, you will be scared, but you won't know why. Dead ass. I didn't know why. I was so confused. It deals a lot with, like, in my opinion, there was a lot of like kind of mental illness happening in this book. And oh my God, it is. I want you to read it. I want everybody to read this book. And please come back to me with all of your emotions because you're going to have a lot. Next up in Summerween, I listened to The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. It was fine. It was fine. I think I maybe listened to it too quickly or maybe wasn't paying enough attention to it because I just didn't care. Like, I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it as much as I hear other people loving it. I don't know. That's really all I have to say. And juxtaposed to that, we have a winner chicken dinner. This, do you see this cover? This might be like the prettiest cover I own. Oh, definitely the prettiest cover I own. It might be the prettiest cover I've ever seen. Leigh Bardugo, she really got me with this. Like, I don't know if I like it more than The Diviners. I think that I like the world building in this more than The Diviners, for sure. Like, the world building was so good. The Diviners, the characters were better. And I don't know. If you like The Diviners, read this. You'll love it. If you like Harry Potter, read this. You'll love it. It's like an adult fantasy and it's dark academia and like, oh my God, bitch, you know we love dark academia. Like, we are hoes for dark academia in this house, okay? It's basically where this main character is in Yale and she is not supposed to be there because she's not smart or rich enough to get in, but they take her in because basically it's like Yale has a bunch of societies that are kind of like Illuminati or thought of as Illuminati. and people just think of them as like fraternities or whatever, but then it really turns out that they're like this supernatural, dark, spell casting, shape shifting, potion swirling craziness. And it is so insane. Like, okay, I think that the best way I could put it is that there's literally a part in the very beginning of the book where one of these societies is doing a sacrificial kind of ritual, and they cut this guy open and they're looking through his insides, and the insides are telling them where the stocks are going to turn in the next week, like what they should put their money on, because like the rich get richer. It is so interesting because it's taking magic and using it for like money and using it for like white power. It's just so intriguing, and I loved it. And second to last, I have What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Now, John Mars is one of my favorite authors of all time. The Passengers and The One are like God tier. This book was a 4 out of 5 for me, mainly because the main character, Nina, I hated her. I absolutely hated her. Like, I don't know, absolutely have never hated a character as much as I hated her. She's like one of those people that's like, you can't get anything into her head. It's like, when somebody's like so delusional that they're just like not even hearing that you're talking, like they can't comprehend like anything in reality. I hated her so much, and it's not John Mars' fault. It's not. He was being very true to the character. There are people like this that exist. I've met some. So like, that's fine. But for me, it just made the experience so frustrating. And the story is very intriguing. So it's basically where you're following a daughter and a mom, and the daughter has the mom chained up in her attic. And you're starting at that point. So that's not a spoiler. And you're trying to figure out, why is the mom chained up in the attic? What did she do? Does she deserve to be locked up? Is she dangerous? Is the daughter dangerous? Like, this whole thing. And then you're starting in the present and you're going back and back and back and back through their lives together and realizing all the horrible shit that has either happened to them, that they've done because of things that have happened to them, that they do to each other, that they do to other people, like all the people that get brought into their lives. And I've said this before, and I'll say it a million more times, John Mars is the king of a plot twist. The king. But unfortunately, this one just wasn't on the same tier as his other two books. Well, because we are on August 31st, and I just finished this book a couple hours ago, this is going to be my last book for August, and it is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. And yeah, you saw right. We have a whole vibe happening. This book was a 4 out of 5 for me. I think that this book is so deep, it's so introspective, it's depressing, and then at the very end, it is horrifying. Literally, the last like 30 pages of this book are terrifying, like terrifying. I will say that I have watched this movie a while back before reading this book, and all the things that I was remembering about the movie, I was like getting through this book and I was like, okay, maybe they changed stuff about the movie or about the book in the movie. But no, the movie is literally like this much of the book is what the movie's about. This is all like grief and sadness and like just the emotional despair that comes with death. I will say the thing that definitely knocked this down a peg for me was that, I swear to God, this much of the book is about the cat. I mean, I know it's not about the cat, but like the cat is the only one who's creepy. Like the cat is and then we have like, I mean, don't get me wrong, something happens around here that's like, wowie zowie. But this was terrifying. This was sad, and this was about a cat. Still a great book. Very, very well written. If you want to read something by Stephen King and you don't want it to be like overly descriptive, then I would pick this up, because this was just, it wasn't descriptive of scenery, it was descriptive of emotional impact, and it was very good. Okay, guys, that is going to wrap up the 21 books that I read in August. And you might be thinking to yourself, wow, Katie, you read a lot of like spooky, mystery, thriller books in August. You've got to be like wanting to do something else. No, not in this house. In this house, we are dark all the time, sis. All the time, okay? And honestly, what I think I'm going to pick up next is I'm going to reread The Diviners, because so good. So So good, and I want to reread it before I go into Layer of Dreams. Oh my god, this book is so fantastic. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and honestly, I might do a reading vlog for the Diviner series. You guys let me know what you think, or if I should just do a wrap-up of each video or a wrap-up of the series. You let me know, and that's what I'm going to do. Also, I'm going to have my Instagram and my Goodreads link down below. I would love it if you follow me on there. I post on there fervently. And I would love it even more if you liked and subscribed to this video and left me a comment, told me about any of the books that you really want me to read next. That would be dope. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you again in another one shortly. Have an amazing, spooky day.